After dark, the Taipei food scene comes to life in more than 100 night markets. Each has its own character. Some offer cheap goods and foods popular with young people. Others specialize in seafood, poultry, produce, handicrafts, and more. It's socializing and nightly street theater. Amid the market's sights, sounds, and smells, there is one distinctive and supremely funky aroma that rises above all others. From this innocent-looking snack, Stinky tofu, Taiwan's most infamous street food.
Really, it's like, whoa, what? It's like rotten eggs or something?
If you can get past the stink of lightly fermented tofu, it tastes faintly spoiled and cheesy. Brine tofu can be very tasty. Stinky tofu is regular tofu that has been fermented in a rotted brine created from combinations of plants, herbs, and animal material. Some vendors age their tofu for weeks in a brine that was up to a decade old to begin with, creating a potent product that's almost inedible for most foreigners. One story told about its origins is that it was created by accident centuries ago in China when a thrifty tofu merchant kept some leftover bean curd too long and it fermented. Instead of throwing it out, he tasted it, liked it, and so did his customers. Stinky tofu is a staple at the Rawa Street Market, located right next to the CU Buddhist Temple. It's one of the oldest night markets in the city and home to Zhegang Mingpeng's Stinky Tofu stand.
Most of the Taiwanese like stinky tofu, but when foreigners hear the word stinky, they think it's weird.
Zhang Peng has been in business for 20 years. Now he's passing on 3 decades of experience to his daughter, Abby. They start with tofu that's already fermented.
We deep fry it, and then we take out 3 pieces, and we poke a hole in them.
Poking the holes creates pockets for holding bigger volumes of the house specialty, Mr. Zhang's homemade dipping sauces and toppings.
According to customers' preference, we will add the garlic paste, soy sauce, cilantro, and chili sauce.
I like, in particular, the pickled cabbage.
Apparently, you can get too much of a good thing.
I came here so often to eat that my wife would get mad at me and tell me not to eat any more stinky tofu and give my body a rest.
Lots of locals share his love for stinky tofu, but Mr. Zhang's stand is also busy with tourists eager to take the plunge.
At first, it does taste kind of like a really smelly cheese, like an old cheese. But then it just tastes like tofu.
The tofu is very similar to a deep-fried sponge. And in fact, in this particular case, the tofu takes on a lot more of the sauce taste.
Another stand that draws big crowds at the Rawa Street Night Market sells this classic, the oyster omelette, called oyajian in Mandarin. An egg and cornstarch omelet filled with small whole oysters.
I can't imagine finding it in a restaurant. You have a special class of food that you only find in the night markets, and oyster omelets are definitely one of those exclusively night market foods.
Oyajian originated during the food shortages that plagued Taiwan right after World War II. Oysters grow abundantly on the island's western coast and were easy for locals to harvest. They combine them with eggs, cornstarch, and sauces to stretch the dish and feed more hungry mouths. Lee's Omelets has earned a coveted location near the busy western entrance to the Rawa Market. The Lee brothers grew up in the business.
I've been helping ever since I was young. Starting from middle school, I've been working here with my parents, learning while doing. After my father retired, I took over the stand.
Lee's oysters are harvested daily from farms in southwestern Taiwan, and that level of freshness is crucial to the brothers' success. They slather the griddle with lard.
First, put in the oysters. Then, add the cornstarch slurry. Then, add an egg.
As Zhenjian separates the eggs, the protein reacts with the cornstarch, giving the mixture its signature gooey consistency.
Then, flip it over. Now, I have to turn the fire up.
Chinese cabbage is heaped on top and more lard is added before the omelet is flipped. It only takes 3 minutes to cook each oyajian, making it a perfect street food. Then it's topped with pickled plum sauce mixed with ketchup.
The oyster omelet should have crispy edges on the outside. The inside should be tender, and the sauce should be a little bit sweet and sour.
You'll taste the egg and oyster primarily. but also vegetables.
Well, you kind of get this chewy texture down here, and then that's nice, and then you get kind of like the egg, so you get like the oiliness of that. The sweetness of the sauce, I like that, and then the oysters are really nice as well.
Omelets are usually a little bit bland or not as much with sauce. It has like a sweet and sour sauce.
Very good.
Here on the streets of Taipei, food is always the life of the party. In this restaurant, it's elevated to fine art by an army of chefs crafting world-famous dumplings with a surprise inside.
Grilled